Hey everyone, I'm super excited about connecting with you today. I think I say that every week, but I think it's because I'm super excited. I just finished doing an event. We went to a Facebook Live. We went to a gala. It was a fundraiser for the Festival of Trees, and it was really super, super fun. And so I'm dressed a little differently than I usually am when I'm doing these events and hanging out with you. So it was super fun because my husband said yes to being in the fashion show, which is really unlike him. He doesn't really have a lot of the cheese gene and doesn't really want a lot of eyes on him. But today there were over 1,000 women watching him strut down the runway. And I'll be posting pictures and video of that a little bit later. So I was very, very proud of him. He was very courageous as he stretched out of his comfort zone and said yes to something that wasn't really something he was comfortable with. So I talk about, hi Maggie, how are you, sweet thing? You know, you've probably heard this saying, courage is not being afraid. Courage is being afraid and doing it anyway. And what I know for sure is that if we want to ascend, if we want our lives to be different than they are, we have to be willing to step out of our comfort zone. We have to be willing to take courageous action steps on our behalf. Years ago, I really, really lacked courage. I was very insecure. I was very, very shy. And when I went to school, they said we needed to pick a word for ourselves that would support us and empower us and help us expand into the next best version of ourselves. And the word that I chose for myself was confidence and courage. And so then after we pick our power word, we were supposed to create an intention, an affirmation, and an intention. And so my first affirmation that I consciously ever worked with was, I am confident and courageous, and I speak from my heart. And I've said that a lot. Tanya, what are you doing here? I love you. Hey, Elaine. They were just at the Festival of Trees fashion show today, too. So it's fun to see them on here. We all just kind of got home, I think. So my first affirmation that I created for myself to support me in expanding into who I wanted to become and who I think I've become is, I am confident and courageous and speak from my heart. And it was scary for me to consider doing that and living from that posture and perspective. But we set our intentions and we create affirmations for what we truly want to claim for ourselves. It may not be the truth of who we are and how we feel right now, but we want to move into that. We want to grow into that. It becomes what first starts with an intellectual possibility, thought, concept. And then as we continue to claim it for ourselves, hopefully we create an affirmation that we can work with on a daily basis. It eventually becomes more of our truth. And then eventually it becomes how we are. We become embodied as a part of this intention or affirmation. So I don't have to claim that particular intention or affirmation for me anymore, because I really do live confidently and courageously, and I do live and speak from my heart. I've become very congruent with these words and intentions and affirmations. And I have a quote here in my book that's Ralph Waldo Emerson said, and I love it, a good intention clothes itself with sudden power. And then Wayne Dyer has another wonderful quote about intention. Intention is not something you do, but rather a force that exists in the universe as an invisible field of energy. So when we claim our intentions, hey Marianne, we start to clothe ourselves with sudden power. We start to work with the forces of the universe. Everything in the universe starts first with intention. So if we want to create an empowered, love-based, prosperous life, and we're not really feeling it or living it right now, we can start to move in that direction and start to live into that direction, and hopefully eventually embody that intention as we create empowering affirmations for ourselves. Years ago, my husband was having a really rough patch dealing with some things that were going on with work, and he would tell me about it, and it felt a little bit like complaining. And I said, why don't you claim a different intention for yourself? And he's like what? Well, how about grace, ease, and victories? I'm living in grace, ease, and victories. I'm manifesting victories. And he goes, but I'm not living in grace and ease. And I said, that's why you claim it. So you can start to become that. So your life can start to move in that direction. And so I said, you've got a 20, 30-minute drive every day on your way to work. why don't you just say that as your affirmation on the way to work every day? And he thought it was silly, but he said he would humor me. And he did it. It's about 4 or 5 days later, I'm like, how are things going? And he goes, they're actually smoothing out. And then he started to have some victories. I was very proud of him for having the courage to do this silly thing that I had suggested. And it was really fun to see him experience some shifts around it. And now he really kind of gets it. So this morning when he was on his way out the door to the Festival of Trees and to walk the runway, and he did rock it, by the way, which you'll see later if you look on my news feed and the pictures and him walking down the runway. I said, what are your intentions? And he goes, just to get this over with, to run down the runway and get this over with. I said, maybe you could claim a different one for yourself. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah. Just to have fun with it, to be present and have fun. I said, I think that's a more empowering intention. And he really did such a wonderful job, and it looked like he had a lot of fun. And you'll get to see that later as well. So I would love for you to consider, and you've probably done this, a word that you would like to claim for yourself, an intention you would like to claim for yourself. And then from that, create an affirmation around it. And it's always nice to have, and it's empowering to have the affirmation start with I am. You start to claim it in the present tense, here and now, and fully embodying what it is that you want to live in this moment, here and now, even if you're not. You know, it's like my teachers would say, if we want to fantasize about our future, we might as well win in our own fantasies. So when we claim intentions for what we really, really want, we're winning in our fantasies. Instead of spending a lot of time worrying or complaining, you're consciously choosing the words that you want and the feeling you want to experience here and now. And that's how we move in that direction. It's hard to go in a really positive direction if you're speaking negatively, if you're thinking negatively. So affirmations can be a really wonderful way of starting to claim what it is you really, really want. And as we repeat the affirmations, and I think it's always a good idea to maybe write your affirmation down on a sticky note and put it in different places, maybe in your car where you can remind yourself to claim it often, or on a mirror if you see a mirror frequently, or first thing in the morning when you're brushing your teeth, or maybe on your refrigerator, different places where you're going to see it, to remind yourself to claim, hi Letitia, to claim your affirmations frequently. Because as we repeat them, they start to sink down into our subconscious mind. At first, maybe they're just words. But if you can imagine feeling whatever this affirmation is, and intention is, and if you continue to repeat it, it's eventually going to start to affect your subconscious mind. And once your subconscious mind accepts something, your life will reflect it back to you. Your life will transform around that. And I've talked about this before. If your subconscious mind believes something and accepts something, what shows up in your life is going to be an inevitable reflection of that affirmation or intention, because outer reality is a reflection of inner reality. So we want to take responsibility for our inner realities. And I talk a lot about my meditation and guided meditation, but also setting conscious intentions and claiming empowering affirmations, and doing them repeatedly can really support you in moving the direction you want to go in your life. It's like the steering wheel. What direction do you want to go? You can't speak of the negative and expect to manifest something positive. You need to be consistent. You need to be congruent. And it can take courage, and you may balk at it. And sometimes we have to make it. But I know I wouldn't be where I am in my life with this wonderful relationship, living a life of prosperity and joy and creativity. I wouldn't be living my dream life if I hadn't opened my mind to the possibility of working with intentions and affirmations. I'm very, very grateful to my teachers, Ron and Mary Holnick, and the University of Santa Monica, for encouraging us to explore and experiment with some of these tools that I share with you, because again, they've been incredibly empowering and helpful in my life. My most recent intention and affirmation is, I am the presence of love, and I speak to people's hearts. And it just feels really good. It's about just being present and am I loving with whoever is in front of me. And yeah, at this point, that's what I want to claim. So perhaps you'll come up with an intention and affirmation that works for you now, but you might decide you want to shift it or refine it or revise it or maybe completely change it into something else. For a long time, my intention and affirmation was to live a life of prosperity because I was struggling so much financially. And I think I've shared this one with you before. I'm a magnet for magic, miracles, and money. I'm a magnet for magic, miracles, and money. And the more I claimed it, the more it seemed there were these God winks indicating that this was working. I did manifest a lot of synchronicity. I did manifest many opportunities to manifest prosperity in a lot of different ways. And at this point, I don't really need to claim that one anymore because my life is pretty magical and miraculous, and I am very prosperous. So now what I want next, and it's like going to a buffet. What do you want? What do you want most? What do you want the next? It's a constant evolving and a consistent growing, and it's transforming all the time. That's my intention, to continue to grow and heal and ascend in my consciousness, and do so with a lot more fun these days, and connect with other people of like mind that want to ascend in joy and grace and ease. So if you're hanging out with me here, I'm hoping that's part of your intention and that you are experiencing a lot of grace and ease and joy in your life. And if you're not, maybe consider the empowering word or the power word you want to claim, and then building your affirmation around that. If you need any help with that, I would love to support you in creating a beautiful, healing, empowering affirmation. Again, you start with I am, and then claim what it is you want. I am the presence of love. I am living in grace and ease. I always claim grace and ease in the mornings when I get up. I do intentions every single morning. I consistently claim I'm living in grace and ease and clarity. So even if I don't know what else to claim, I claim that. Often I do have other affirmations and intentions, but I always like to add that as well: grace, ease, and clarity. So consider what you want, and then create your affirmation around that. And perhaps you want to claim grace, ease, and clarity, because then you're aligning and inviting that energy that's moving the planets around the sun to partner with you in a way that is hopefully more flowing than bumpy, hopefully more clear than clumsy, hopefully more joy than sorrow. So I hope this is something that supports you, and I would love to hear what's going on in your life and what affirmations you're creating and claiming for yourself. And let me know if you're experiencing any God winks or synchronicity or anything that's happening in your life. If you need support, be in touch with me. Any questions, comments, thoughts, let me know your empowering affirmation and how life is showing up for you. And just know that you are in my intentions and affirmations every day as I send my family, my friends, my spiritual rock climbers, my family of the heart, blessings of joy, grace, ease, appreciation, and great love. So I hope you're feeling that, sensing that, and loving your life and loving yourself. Because the more you love yourself, the more life can show up, reflecting you back as the presence of love. The world and life treats you the way you treat yourself. So be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, check in often, and ask yourself, what honors me? What can I do that would exemplify self-love? And follow through with whatever that is. And again, claim your power word, create your intention and affirmation, and repeat it frequently. Do it often. Do it through the day. If you're sitting in traffic and feeling irritated, plug in that affirmation. If you're in a grocery store line, plug in that affirmation, put the sticky notes around, repeat them often, and just watch how things start to maybe shift and show up in your life. And let me know. You know I love you, right? I'm very proud of you and so happy to be spending a little time with you, and look forward to being in touch. So write to me at tammybphd@gmail.com, or of course private message me and let me know how you're doing. You're in my heart, my meditation, and my prayers. God bless you. Take good, gentle care of yourself. Onward and upward. Bye for now.